The rain had not stopped for 3 cycles. Lisa pressed her daughter closer to her chest, her translucent skin flickering with the bioluminescent patterns of distress that all Aquarians displayed when afraid. The water had risen past the 7th level of their dwelling, and the evacuation ships had long since departed, their ion trails vanishing into the storm-darkened sky of Thalassa Prime. "Mama, I'm cold," whispered Arya, her small voice barely audible over the howling wind and the relentless drumming of rain against what remained of their shelter's roof. Lisa's 3-fingered hand stroked her daughter's head, trying to project calm through the empathic touch their species shared. But she could not hide the truth from herself. They had been abandoned. When the planetary government issued the evacuation order, only those with citizenship papers were permitted aboard the massive Arc ships. Lisa, a refugee from the outer colonies, had no such documentation. The officials had turned them away without a second glance. Now, perched on the crumbling remains of their rooftop dwelling, Lisa watched as the acidic floodwaters churned below, filled with debris and the occasional flash of something moving beneath the surface. Predators that had evolved in Thalassa's deep oceans, now free to hunt in the flooded streets of the capital city. The sky above was a bruised purple, choked with industrial pollutants and storm clouds. Lisa had accepted their fate. She pulled Arya closer, humming an ancient lullaby from her homeworld, preparing to face the end with what dignity remained. That's when she saw the light. At first, Lisa thought it was lightning, a bright beam cutting through the rain. But the light remained steady, sweeping across the submerged cityscape. Then came the sound, a deep thrumming that she felt in her chest cavity before she heard it with her auditory membranes. A ship. Not one of the sleek Aquarian vessels with their organic curves and pearl-like hulls, but something different. It was angular utilitarian with harsh lines and dull gray plating. Human design, Lisa recognized immediately. The craft descended through the storm with surprising grace for something so industrial-looking, its powerful thrusters creating waves in the floodwater below. A hatch opened on the ship's side, and a figure appeared, bipedal, wearing a dark environmental suit with a helmet that reflected the ship's external lights. The human deployed a rescue platform that extended toward Lisa's crumbling rooftop. "Can you move?" The voice came through an external speaker, translated into Aquarian by the suit's AI. The accent was rough, the grammar imperfect, but understandable. "That structure won't last another hour." Lisa stared, unable to process what was happening. Humans didn't come to Thalassa Prime. The Aquarian government had formal relations with the Terran Coalition, but this was an internal matter, a planetary crisis. Why would a human risk his life in these conditions for aliens he didn't know? "Ma'am, I need you to trust me," the human shouted, his voice carrying urgency even through the mechanical translation. "I'm James, freelance rescue operator. I've got room on my ship and I'm not leaving anyone behind." The rooftop shuddered beneath Lisa's feet. A large section cracked and fell away into the churning waters below. Arya screamed, her bioluminescence flashing bright orange, the color of terror. Lisa made her decision. She stumbled across the unstable surface, clutching her daughter, her webbed feet slipping on the wet materials. The rescue platform was just meters away, but the gap seemed impossible. The human, James, extended his arm, leaning out as far as his safety harness would allow. "Jump. I've got you." Lisa closed her eyes, said a prayer to the deep mothers, and leaped. For a terrifying moment she felt nothing but air and falling. Then strong hands gripped her arm, and she heard the human grunt with effort as he hauled them both onto the platform. The servos in his suit whined as he pulled them to safety, and moments later, the platform retracted into the ship just as the rooftop finally collapsed into the acidic waters. Inside the cruiser, Lisa found herself in a cramped but functional cargo bay. The lighting was harsh and white, so different from the soft blue glow Aquarians preferred, but it was dry and warm. James removed his helmet, revealing a weathered face with kind eyes and dark hair streaked with gray. "You're safe now," he said, his human mouth forming words his suit's translator rendered into her language. "I'm running a sweep pattern across the city. Sensors picked up your life signs 3 sectors ago, but the currents made navigation tricky." "Why?" Lisa managed to ask, her voice shaking as she held Arya close. "Why would you risk this for us?" James paused in his work, checking their vital signs with a medical scanner. A small smile crossed his face. Because back on Earth we've got a saying, we leave no one behind. Governments might make rules about who deserves rescue, but I'm not a government. I'm just a guy with a ship who can't stand the thought of anyone dying when I could have done something about it. He handed Lisa a thermal blanket and a sealed container of water. Besides, humanity knows what it's like to be refugees. We've seen our share of flooded cities and desperate evacuations. If we don't help each other out here among the stars, what's the point of any of this? Over the next hour, James's cruiser cut through the storm, his sensors identifying 3 more stranded families. All refugees, all without documentation, all left behind. The cargo bay grew crowded, but no one complained. They watched in amazement as this human, this stranger, risked everything to pull them from death's grip. When the storm finally cleared, James set course for the nearest Terran Coalition station. They'll ask questions, he warned his passengers, but Coalition law trumps planetary regulations. You're refugees now under Terran protection. They'll have to process you properly. Lisa looked at James, at this weathered human who embodied everything she'd heard about his species. Stubborn, compassionate to a fault, unwilling to accept the impossible as an answer. She touched his hand with her webbed fingers, the gesture of deepest gratitude in Aquarian culture. "Thank you," she said, the translator rendering her words in his language. "You saved us." James nodded, his expression serious. "That's what we do." Humanity learned the hard way that we're all in this together. Every species, every world. We rise together, or we fall alone. As his cruiser broke atmosphere heading for the stars, Lisa held her daughter close and looked out the viewport at the receding planet below. They had been abandoned by their own kind, but saved by an alien whose species understood something profound. That humanity wasn't about biology or birthplace. It was about the choice to reach out your hand when someone was falling. And in that moment, Lisa understood why the galaxy both feared and admired the humans. They were unpredictable, reckless, and stubbornly idealistic. They were also, she realized, exactly what the universe needed. The end.